your host, Wesleyne Greer, and today our guest is Katia Rave. She is going to be chatting about why speaking should translate into money in the bank. How are you, Katia?
Hello, Wesley. Thank you so much for having me. I am fantastic now that I'm here with you and giving tips on all these great things about speaking.
I love it. Katia Rave is a business coach, speaker, and author who speaks three languages: French, English, and money. She is my kind of lady. She helps entrepreneurs generate leads, maximize profit, and be seen on stages with a speech that converts into money in the bank. I love that. I love those three languages. So I think I should start saying I speak two. I speak English and sales leads into money. That is lovely. So tell us, how did you become this business coach that really helps work with entrepreneurs?
So one of the big things is I am the daughter of entrepreneurs. I've always had businesses, and one of my business actually did not work, and totally a total failure after 5 years. And I could not understand why all of the other businesses were so successful and this one had not worked. It made me kind of dig deep into this. And at the end of the day, I really figured out I was opening a lot of hair salons, and those were successful. And then I opened a spa, a 3,000 square feet facility. It was beautiful. We had the best product, the best employees, and yet we couldn't make the profit we wanted. Why? And after the 5 years, then we were open and we had to decide to close the door. I took it very personally, right? I didn't look at all the success I had before. I took this failure personally. It wasn't the spa who failed, the business who failed, it was me. And I realized then as women, we do that. And I, dig down really into all the paperwork and why was this different. And sometimes it's just a tiny tweak. And if I would have had a business coach, if I would have invested into having someone who would have guided me, I would have been able to do that. And I decided then I love the business side. I love opening businesses. And I was like, being a business coach is really going to be something then I can do because I have all of this knowledge. And now I also know why there was that failure.
Wow. So your story is so impactful because you're a second generation business owner, which a lot of people, they just hang a shingle and they don't know what they're doing, but you're second generation. And really to be a big person to say that the business failed, which means I failed, and to internalize it and then to triage it and not just sit there with all that knowledge you gain, but really want to help others with that. I think that that is amazing. So I know that you are really impacting your clients' top and bottom line. So what is one tip that you can give us to really help us increase our sales?
You have to be speaking. I mean, especially right now, speaking on stages. And of course, it used to be on regular stages. Now it's all on virtual. But my gosh, if you're not on Clubhouse yet, go ahead and go on Clubhouse. All these platforms for speaking are just an amazing way for people to look at you a little bit differently, for people to look at you as the expert into your industry, and to really get to see your personality, see who you really are. What is it about you makes you different?
So, a lot of people are like, I want to be a speaker. I want to speak. I want to speak. I know that it's good for my business, whether I'm getting paid to speak or the speaking is going to turn into some type of revenue. What is the first step? How do they dip their toe in the water of speaking?
So I think by jumping in. One of those things then I see a lot with entrepreneurs, they want perfection. They want to know their speech. They want to, I mean, I don't know what, like here, I know kind of what I want to talk about, but I know my message so well, then it doesn't matter what kind of question you ask me. And I think that's what speaking is not right now. People want to have something crafted and know it by heart, and then they're so stressed because, oh my gosh, what if I lose my memory? What if I lose that word? What if I don't know what to say after? And they're making it about themselves versus making it about the audience. When we really there for the audience, when we're really there to give, when we're really there to serve, people will see. Then we know what we do. We all know what we do, and we know it very well. But then when we talk about a speech or getting on stage, there is this fear who come like, oh my gosh, what if I, before on a regular stage, it was like, what if I trip? What if it doesn't matter. So what, we trip. I mean, we all wear high heels. At some point we have tripped, and so I try to really tell my client, and when we are so solid about our message, so solid about who we help, then we can really move forward. And don't wait until you have perfection. Try it out.
I love that. So just jump in the middle of the ocean and eventually you'll start doggy paddling and then you'll learn to swim and then you'll be doing backflips and everything in the water. I love it. And so what is the second tip that you have?
The second tip is really give, 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 give. You are there to give to the audience. You are really there for what are you contributing to? What are the tips? What are the strategies? One of the misconception is, oh, I'm going to hold back and I'm not going to give them what I know because then they won't hire me. And this is what I see in most people. I go in there and I could tell you, I could give my entire coaching program, and then if you don't have someone who keeps you accountable, if you don't have someone who's going to hold your hand, if you don't have someone who's really going to walk you through the challenges, the mindset, and the growth, it doesn't matter if you have it all. I mean, you have to, when you give to the audience, it's truly a gift. I'm there for them. I'm a servant. And if we forget this as entrepreneurs, then we're in the wrong line of work.
That's so powerful because, a lot of times people are like, well, if I give them everything, then they're not going to pay me, right?
That's right.
And so you hold back or maybe just give them the surface, but really go deep, because if they leave and your speech or listen to your podcast and they feel that, oh, wow, in 15 minutes, in an hour, I got that. I wonder what it would be like with 6 months of working with this person, right? So
Exactly.
give freely and give authentically, right? Don't
Right,
just
right, right.
don't give them something that is not just because, okay, I'm going to give you a little something, but it's not
Correct.
anything they can do anything with.
No, I always say, you have to give so much value. Then if at the end you're like, okay, if I would have been in this audience, I would have got something out of this, then you were good. But I see so many speakers who say, oh, I was really good. People told me how good I was. And I'm like, how did that reflect into your bank account? How did that reflect, like, would have you actually got something out of, your speech? A lot of time it's not delivered, the right way because, we get in our own way.
That's good. And what is the third tip that you have for the
The third
audience?
tip is really your call to action, right? When we talk about giving and giving and giving, what do you really have for the audience? What do you have then you're going to give them? Then they actually feel like giving you their email address or giving you their phone number is worth it. And a lot of time, I can tell you, this is where everything falls short. I'm seeing some amazing speakers doing a great job giving, and then they at the end they give an opt-in. Their call to action is either it's missing, or if it is, hey, register for my thing, it's a one-page, thing who's not really worth my email, not really worth my time. And I feel a lot of time then the people in the audience feel that. They're like, oh, that's what we get. Not sure it's worth it. Your call to action is really everything, and it really represents your brand. It represents how giving are you. For me, when I give a freebie, people are like, oh my gosh, we get 10, 15 pages, and it's really good value. It's work. They can see we put some time into it. We put some time into our branding. We put some time into the homework then we make them do, because we know that if they have that, when they take us home with them, then they maybe have a chance to say, you know what, I think I would like to work with them. Does that make sense?
So it's not really just you really gave us I feel like you gave us a bonus tip there because you gave us two in one. So make sure you have a call to action, right? I say the money's in the conversion. You can speak every single day of the week, right? You can be on other people's platform, but if there is no conversion, there
That's
is no
right.
sale, right?
That's
So
right.
have a call to action. Make sure it's solid and make sure it resonates with whatever talk you're giving. And
Correct.
then not only having a call to action, but make sure it's beefy, right? If you say here's your free ebook, it's one page that is not an ebook, right?
That's exactly what I'm talking about. We've all been there.
Yes, it's like you're like, oh, I'm so revved up. They said I can get this awesome free thing, and then you go, you see it, and what happens? You unsubscribe immediately.
That's right.
And
That's
so
right.
again, the money is in the conversion. So have a good call to action as well as make sure it has some value. That is
Right.
amazing.
And one last thing, if you do a call to action where you're going to ask people to make a call on your calendar, and you telling the audience, I have only 10 available, make sure that when they go into your calendar, you really just have 10 in your calendar, because this is where there's a lack of authenticity. We understand from so many coaches, and they tell us, like, there's the scarcity. You need to make, okay, you got to do this right now. She has only 10. But make sure then you don't fool the audience, because being transparent and being authentic into what we do these days, you will make yourself being very different.
Mm. Yeah, when you go and they say, like you said, oh, I only have 10 slots, and you're like, your calendar's wide open. I thought you were the expert, right?
That's right. That's
If
right.
you're the expert and you only have 10 slots, why is your calendar wide open? Or then on the flip side, go book some time on my calendar and then there's nothing available. Make sure that you're staying on top of it to open up a few more slots or a few more times.
Very much
That's
so.
good. You gave us some really, really good golden nuggets there.
Good.
So tell us about someone that you've taken from nothing to build a six-figure speaking business.
Sure, sure. So, Sam, one of my clients, she came to me last year, 18 months ago. And she actually didn't know if she wanted to be a business coach, or she kind of had no clue what she wanted to do. She had a job into a marketing company, and she thought she wanted to go into the coaching and do a business coaching thing. After really seeing all the gift than she had, I said, no, what you want is really being a marketing person. She went from not having a company, we built, everything from scratch. And after literally 18 months, she is now full time into her job, and she broke $87,000 in
Wow.
profit in almost 18 months. So of course, she renewed, and I love working with people like that. I love working with people who just, sometimes you don't know, right? You have a gift, but you need someone who's going to extract it. And that's really what I do best. And we put her on stage. She's now talking everywhere, and she's really doing an amazing job. She just bought a new house, and it's just
Oh,
exciting. It's those kind of things. Then you're like, oh my gosh, I changed someone's life. And for me, that's, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, right?
it's that personal connection. I love that, because there's so many people who have one foot in the corporate world and the other foot they're dabbling in entrepreneurship and it's their side hustle, right? And I always
Right.
say, in order to make your side hustle your main hustle, you got to sacrifice and you have to really put in the time. And it seems like you were able to take her where she was like, I think I want to do this or I want to do that. No, this is what you're good at. This is what you're
Yep.
passionate about. Let's build this business. And you didn't say she made $87,000 in revenue. You said profit. And so,
Correct.
for those in the audience who don't understand, we all have expenses, right? As CEOs, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, you have to pay for everything. And so, to clear in your first year out working
That's
on
right.
your own, $87,000 in pure profit is absolutely amazing.
Granted,
Absolutely.
I will give you then COVID helped, because as a marketing person, a lot of people were hiring during COVID, like more. So she really entered at the good place, because by the time COVID hit, she had a solid message. She knew exactly where she was, who was she who was she serving, and her message was very clear. So it was really, she's a cool client for me to see those success.
I love that. And do you have a free gift for our audience?
I sure do. I sure do. So my free gift, if you go to speakingsecrets.com, and I'm going to verify that it's speakingoffersecrets.com, you will have what I talked about earlier. It's about a 15-page workbook to help you to understand how to convert the audience. What are the tips? What do you need to do to be able to close more clients with like compelling session? What do you have to do as a CTA to be able to convert these people who are listening to you?
So you can get a workbook on how to convert clients that you're speaking to, audiences that you're speaking to, how to actually convert them. Not just read this and then sit on this information. It's actually a workbook, which is what we all need. We all need to be doing actionable things to grow our business. And what is the one best way that people can get in contact with you?
They can email me at Katia Rave, Rave.com, or on social media. I'm Katia Rave everywhere, whether we are on Clubhouse or on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and that's pretty much the label.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Katia, for these insightful golden nuggets and helping our audience really truly understand what they need to do to move from one stage to the next in growing their business and having a 6-figure business.
Thank you so much for having me, Wesleyne. I really appreciate that.